Welcome back to my channel. My name's Hannah. I teach high school science in the wonderful state of Florida. If you are new here, like, subscribe, do what you gotta do. But today I wanted to make a video on evaluations, how I prepare, and stuff like that, because I'm being evaluated tomorrow. So I'm gonna be evaluated on my environmental science class, which is my freshman. And I'm just getting ready to start my lesson planning now. Unfortunately, I had taken all of last week off and then Monday off this week. So I just wanted to kind of like bring you guys along with like how I prepared my lesson, stuff like that, so you guys can get an idea. If you did not watch my last like classroom vlog, you do not know, but I hung up these like Christmas tree lights. So I've been able to keep like those front lights off and then just the back lights on, and it is changing my world. So let's get into how I'm planning. So what my principal does is he comes in. I'm sure this is how evaluations go at every school and every place in America, but you know, here's how it goes. My principal comes in for an entire period. Luckily, he lets me pick like what day I want to do and what period I'd like to do. I'm really excited because he came in first semester. Since I'm a first year teacher, I have to get evaluated each semester. And I guess he felt like I had the behaviors really down. So he told me, he's like, I'm not really going to be observing you for like how you handle behavior. It's going to be more about lesson and content and stuff like that, how the kids work through their things. What I really like to do is creative stuff. So my last observation, he actually came in like the second to last week. So we were doing exam reviews, and basically I made a booklet, and the booklet was just a bunch of creative assignments. So they could make a comic book based on a topic. They could do, I can't even remember all of them, like a poster based on a topic. They can make a YouTube video based on a topic. So it was just a bunch of creative projects that they were choosing from. So it's obviously not going to be as creative this time, because they don't get to like, they had an assignment menu. They don't get to go through the same assignment menu, but I will still try and come up with something. But he like comes and sits in for the entire period. So I always talk to my kids the day before and just kind of go over expectations. Unfortunately, I did have to write a referral for one of my kids in my fourth period. So I'm kind of hoping that he's been like disciplined and taken care of and won't be around for the evaluation, but it is what it is. So my goal for that day is going to be, they come in and my students always answer 3 questions that are on the board, and then I go over the answers with them. Quick notes, and then some type of activity. I'm going to try and do a more creative activity. When I plan my weeks, I normally do kind of like 2 boring or more like standard assignments, and then try and kick it up a notch for the other 3. So after my first evaluation, I felt like when he came in, like the day before I really was having to prep with my kids, like, hey, these are the behaviors I expect from y'all. This is exactly what I want. And so I felt like it was a lot of kind of like talking and doing things that we hadn't necessarily done to our best abilities the whole time. Like maybe we weren't always doing entry questions and stuff like that. So I'm really excited because since that evaluation, I've done entry questions every single day. So that's now like a total part of the kids' flow. So that'll be great. I've gone over like classroom behavior, classroom expectations a few more times. And I don't know what happened, but in like the last 4 weeks, all of a sudden my classroom has stayed like cleaner and cleaner. Like they don't make it as messy, because I feel like the last time, the day before my evaluation, I was just like cleaning my room, and now it's like pretty darn good. So I'm excited about that. But let's get into it. Okay, you guys, so I wanted to show you what my instructions look like. So these are the instructions that I hand wrote, and these are gonna go, ooh, let's see if you can see that, on the Elmo. So it'll like display up on the board, and it's up there the entire time. And these are my instructions. I do this because my kids seem to really struggle with the ability to raise their hand and ask a question. I do this because my kids really struggle with their ability to like listen to the instructions and then apply the instructions. So what I do is I'll put the instructions like handwritten on the board. So this way, if the kids ask me like, wait, what's going on again? Wait, what's going on again? I say, look at the board. And this way, no kid ever has an excuse to say, well, I was waiting on you so you could tell me how to do it. And it cuts way down on me having to repeat myself constantly. So I have the instructions handwritten for them. I'm gonna let them work with a partner because group work is huge. And a tip that one of the teachers gave me 2 weeks ago was to assign the kids when they did group work or partner work roles. So what the kids are gonna do is they're gonna create a comic book strip, and the comic strip book or the comic strip is going to show an effect in a cause of climate change. And so it'll show the cause of climate change and then the effect of that specific cause, and it can be man-made or natural. So today we talked about natural causes of climate change, and they made these cute little posters. They were like coloring options on Teachers Pay Teachers. I'll link it down below because it was a really good free resource, so amazing. And then tomorrow we'll do notes on like man-made causes of climate change. So this way it like ties 2 days worth of material together. They'll have the chance to like apply stuff they learned yesterday. And there's like artistic version things that they did yesterday. So they'll create a comic strip. They can choose between a man-made or a natural one, up to them. But the stuff from yesterday's notes is all right there on the board. So this way, even if they say, Miss Healy, I lost my notes from yesterday, I can say, well, you can use that as a resource. So setting them up for success. So one of the kids in the partnership will create the comic strip, like draw it, color it, stuff like that. And the other kid will write like a written description of like what's exactly happening in the comic strip. So if they were to stand up in front of the room and explain like, this is my comic strip, this is why it looks like this is what's happening in it. So that's my goal. So each kid has a role. We're applying 2 days worth of lessons into one. It's creative. They're with a partner. And it is creative. They're creating something from the material learned. So that's what I'm super excited for. Now, the other thing I wanted to go over with you guys, let me see if I can find it, was my mentor teacher went over with me how to create, or like how to ensure a successful evaluation, like her tips and tricks on how to be like successfully evaluated. She said with the classroom, it's really important to hang up student work, make sure kids understand like where things are in the classroom and like what your expectations with them just being in the classroom are, that everything in your room is clean and safe, that you have the essential question and the learning goal posted. This is something I personally struggled with, not coming up with essential questions and learning goals, but remembering to like write them up there on the board. So that is going to be a good one for me to remember tomorrow, and having an example of the work. So I'll need to create a comic book strip for my example. So once again, having work hung, making sure kids know just like how to behave in a classroom, making sure your classroom is just clean and safe, and making sure you have the essential question and learning goal posted in your room somewhere, and always have an example, a positive, good example of the work they're supposed to complete. For interacting with your students, they're looking for sorry, I'm like reading off my list. They are looking for positive reinforcement. So a kid's doing something good and say, oh, thank you so much for doing this. Oh, thank you so much for having your pencil out. Thank you so much for being started. Making sure you know your kids' names, meeting them at the door, making sure I'm like circulating throughout the room, checking on my kiddos, and making sure you're kind of like checking for understanding as you go. So instead of just like letting the kids work, they want you to kind of like touch base throughout it and make sure your kids are understanding what they're doing and why they're doing it. And how your flow is sort of supposed to look is you're meeting the kids at the door as they walk in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. They do some type of bell ringer. For me, it's 3 questions on the board. They answer, usually they're true or false or multiple choice. It's super basic. I walk around and say yes, yes, no, no. And once pretty much all the kids are corrected, we like say them out loud as a group together. Something I struggle to do, but it needs to be on there, is saying what we're going to learn that day and why we're learning it, And that's the moment that you talk about your essential question and learning goal, like boom, throw those in there. We'll start the interactive lesson. What they want you to do is, like, if you're asking questions throughout your lesson, they want you to ask the question and then call on a kid. So it's like, what is a man-made cause of climate change? Sarah, do you know the answer to that? Believe it or not, I actually don't have a student named Sarah. So this way you don't want to like call on the kid's name first and then answer it. They want you to just be interactive with your lesson, make sure the kids are engaged. My students are usually pretty engaged. So they rarely kind of shut off. Activity should be based around a student creating something. Done, check. And at the end, they want you to kind of like summarize the lesson all together. I haven't decided how I will do that. I'm kind of hoping that with the kids creating a comic book strip and creating a written description, we could say, hey, we're gonna present these tomorrow in front of the class, or saying something like that, so we show that like we're gonna do a wrap up of maybe tomorrow, because I think we'll run out of time. And then at the very end, you just wanna say, hey, did we hit our essential learning goal? Hey, did we answer our learning, or did we answer our essential question and meet our learning goal? So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for, in the classroom, clean, safe, the kids understand, keep it clean and safe, and then you have learning goal and essential question posted. With your interactions, they basically just want positive interactions and making sure your kids are understanding as you go. When it comes to the flow, definitely have a bell ringer, go over your essential question and learning goal, have a creative lesson. You want the kids to be taking the knowledge they have and applying it to something, not just a worksheet, but like applying to creating something. And then you want to summarize your lesson in a few sentences and check for understanding kind of like as they're leaving. So that is what it is now. So I'm going to work on creating a comic book strip and creating the notes for tomorrow. I really think that like combining yesterday's lesson or today's lesson and tomorrow's lesson will be a good like bonus. So we shall see, but I'll talk to y'all in a minute. Okay, you guys, so today is over, and it's 3:30, which is like my contract time that I can leave, but I wanted to show y'all the example. Where basically the first 3 boxes are gonna be the cause of climate change. They can choose any one. They can choose man-made or natural, and then the bottom 3 is gonna be the effect of that climate change, and they'll do it in color. Ooh, that lighting though. 4, and my kiddos, ooh, you can't see that, but all those tiny little pieces of paper were, climate change effects of climate change. They drew, let me show you. Oh, she wrote her names on this in multiple spots. So this is something I found on Teachers Pay Teachers, and I really liked it because it was like all black and white, and they just had to color and add descriptions. And so it was like the effects of climate change, melting ice caps, heat waves, drought, stuff like that. So tomorrow, when they're looking for like effects of climate change, they can look at those posters that'll be right up there. So not only will it show that they can apply previous knowledge, but it shows artistic creative stuff, and it shows I don't know what else it shows. Basically it just shows they can use old stuff, they can be creative, and that's kind of it. There you guys, it is officially evaluation day. I figured I'd show you guys my evaluation outfit of the day because I'm loving it. I'm wearing these like blue, they're like faux leather earrings. I got them from Francesca's. I got this orange top, like ruffly sleeves. I love it because it's like full armpit space. So if you start to sweat, like no sweatstands get on you, which is necessary on evaluation day. And then I wore white jeans, which risky, yes, I know, but it is what it is. I did it anywho. My evaluation happened during 4th period. So my principal lets me choose like what day and what period he's gonna evaluate me on, which is amazing. what I had done is I had set up my lesson plan. I was super excited because the notes tied like yesterday's lesson with today's lesson, and there was like essential questions, there was learning goals, there was warm-ups, there was summaries, there was meeting at the door, so like everything to get my little check to say like, yes, I did do that. And then the kids' activity was like a creative, and then the kids started the lesson. My fourth period for once like struggled with an assignment, so I was kind of bummed about that, but you know, it is what it is. He already went through my evaluation stuff and he was super pleased. Since I'm a first year teacher, he felt like I was like right on track with where I should be, if not doing a little bit better. And he was already talking about next year, which I just want to share with you guys that even though I planned this, what I felt like was like a truly amazing lesson and like it was tying into everything, and then we did a creative thing, it didn't really pay off, which is fine, but it's nice to know that like my administration backs me and trusts me, so that makes me feel really good. But I will see you guys next video. But remember, my name is Hannah. If you're new to my channel, you absolutely must like, subscribe, do what you gotta do so you can be along for the journey, because I am a first year teacher in the Second Forest County, Florida, so I'm experiencing it all. It is quite something. But I will see you guys for my next video. Bye, y'all.